Hey, how is it going again, Guardians? LVnative here with another Destiny video for you. Today, we are going to be diving into my techniques on you getting as many possible legendary marks as you can get your grubby little hands on, guys. But before we do that, let's go ahead and take a real quick look at
the feature comment of the day.
And today's feature comment comes to us from Justin Bear, and he says, "Can I get some Destiny 2 hype? And since there is so much hype, I know that this will be the feature comment of the day." Well, turns out you're also a fortune teller because you are correct. And remember, guys, if you want to be the feature comment of the day, all you have to do is like this video and drop a comment in the section below, and I just might pick yours to be the very next feature comment of the day. Alright, so let's talk about legendary marks. Now, it's true that I do have a legendary mark farming video that I did almost a year ago, and it's actually turned into one of my most successful videos. It's been almost a year though, guys. It's time for an update. Things have changed, and what you do now is not the same thing you did a year ago to get the most legendary marks possible. So let's jump right into it, shall we? Okay, now the first is going to be obvious. You want to make sure that you're taking care of your weekly stuff right here, guys. This is going to be very good, easy, quick legendary marks for you to get your hands on. The first place I would start anytime every week does a weekly reset and you're trying to get as much legendary marks as you can, make sure you're doing the weekly story playlist, guys. You can do this a total of 5 times and get 20 legendary marks each time. So that is going to be 100 legendary marks for you to get started right off the bat. Now, this is a count bound, it's not per character, unfortunately, otherwise it would just get ridiculous, but it's still a really nice way for you to get your hands on 100 legendary marks. Alright, after that, you can do the Siva Crisis Heroic Strike playlist. Now, it'll give you 10 legendary marks for completion, and you can do it a total of 3 times per account. You don't have to necessarily do Siva Crisis Heroic Strike playlist, though. You can also do the Challenge of the Elders, and this will also get you 10 legendary marks. So you can do a total of 3, either these or these, to get yourself an extra 30 legendary marks for the week. We also have the weekly PvP playlist. This week, it happens to be double, so if you go in here and play this, it says it gives you 10 legendary marks. I am not 100% certain, but I know that it'll give it to you for your first, I want to say 3 or 4 victories. So we're just going to round down and say it only gives it to you for 3. So if that's the case, we are already off to a good start at 160 marks, and that's just from doing our weekly stuff right here. That being said, I also recommend that if you can do the Nightfalls, absolutely get those done, as it will give you a lot of great loot, and the ones that you don't need, you can just go ahead and dismantle them for even more legendary marks. Alright, so far we have only covered things that are going to be account bound, so pick your favorite class, get those done, and you will get yourself, like I said, that 160 or so legendary marks right off the bat. Now we're going to move into the good stuff, guys, and this is where you can actually get this on each and every character. So everything I'm about to show you, you can do 3 times each week to get an insane amount. First stop, you want to see Commander Zavala, and do this as the very first thing. Before you do your Nightfall, before you do anything for the weekly reset, make sure you stop by and pick up his weekly elite bounties, as these are going to give you a very decent amount of legendary marks. It says 10 for each one of these, so this guy can get 30. I can do that 3 times. I can get 30 on all 3 characters for an extra 90 legendary marks for the week. Another great way that you guys can get some legendary marks for you is make sure you stop and see Brother Vance. That's right, you need to do a little bit of trials, guys, to maximize this. So with Brother Vance, he is going to offer you a couple bounties that give you legendary marks upon completion. So if you look right here, when you have basically what is known as your silver and your gold tier, you can see you get 15 legendary marks for each one of these. The great thing about this is changes have been made to where these reset every single day, so you can continue every single day to complete these 2 bounties and get the legendary marks for that. And you can do this with all 3 characters. 4 days a week, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday you can run trials, so you can complete these and get 30 legendary marks 4 times throughout the week with all 3 characters. That is a big boost for you guys. Make sure you don't skip out on this. Up next is one of my favorite little tips, guys, the public events. I mean, this is a big one. Do not miss out on doing these. They used to not give you that many, good rewards, so a lot of people have just not even worried about doing them. But if you can get on a little tracker, website or app stuff like public events locator, and stuff like that. There's quite a few of them out there, guys, that will teach you and show you how you can track and where the next public events are going to happen. Make sure you take the time to do at least one public event each day with all 3 characters. So it is going to give you 15 legendary marks upon completion, and it doesn't seem like much, but you add that up and you figure that's 45 legendary marks a day that you can get from just doing a real quick public event with all 3 of your characters. The big thing is you can do that every single day it resets, so that's 7 times potentially throughout the week that you can get 45 extra legendary marks. That's a big boost, and I don't see enough people mentioning this when they're talking about the best ways to farm. It's vitally important, if you're trying to max out the amount you get, that you do not pass up on these public events, guys. I'm telling you, I can't stress it enough. If your goal is to get legendary marks, make sure you're doing these every single day. So one last one that I gotta throw in there is right now we would be sitting at 925 roughly. It just depends on that weekly PvP event, but right around 920, we'll say 900. You're gonna get over 900 of these legendary marks a week just by doing everything that we've been talking about, but it does get a little bit better on the weeks that we have Iron Banner. So it's roughly once a month every 4 weeks. They have 4 bounties that you can get from Iron Banner that are each going to give you 25 legendary marks each. And you can do this again with all 3 characters. That means there is an extra 300 legendary marks that you can get on the weeks that we have Iron Banner active. Let's just say you want to play Iron Banner when it's here, especially if you're trying to get legendary marks. So now we are looking roughly around 1,200 legendary marks a week that you can get. Over 900 on every other week, and in the weeks that we have Iron Banner, you can bump that up to 1,200. That is enough times for you to max out 6 times and get a bunch of weapons and or armor that you're looking for. I used to always say to go grind, the level 28 Prison of Elders once you did a couple of the weekly stuff, and that was going to be the fastest way. I don't think that's the best way to use your time anymore. You can still do that. If you've done all this and you need a little bit extra for whatever reason, sure, go in there and knock out the level 28 Prison of Elders, and after you get to the very bottom and open up the chest, there's a very, very high likelihood that out of those chests at the bottom in that treasure room, you are going to be getting yourself some legendary marks as well. So you can just keep doing that once you've done everything else. But I have a feeling that if you're really doing everything else here, you're probably going to run out of time to play during the week. That is a lot of stuff to keep you busy. So rather than just farming the same thing over and over, my new strategy to get the most legendary marks possible is to knock out everything that we've mentioned in this video, guys. It should be well known by now that the weekly rolls on the vendor weapons come around now every single week with a new roll, which means there's a lot of great rolls every week for weapons you want to get, and not everybody has enough legendary marks to get them. If you do what I suggested in this video, you should have no problem being able to get any single weapon that comes up on any given week. One last thing I wanted to add on here, guys, and that is your legendary weapons and your legendary armor. Every time you dismantle one of those, you are going to get between 3 and 5 legendary marks. You will get 3 if you have no upgrades to it at all, and a maximum of 5 if you have all of the nodes upgraded. So there is a really large potential for a massive amount of legendary marks. And the great thing is you don't have to do anything special to get them. If you're doing everything I said in this video, you are going to have an abundance of these materials, guys, from running your nightfalls, from running all of your strikes, from running your raids, just the normal weekly stuff that you would be doing, not to mention doing all the trials and the PvP and stuff like that. You're going to collect quite a few engrams that when you take to the Cryptarch are going to turn into legendary weapons and legendary armor. Go ahead, dismantle those if you don't need them, and you're going to get a whole bunch more. So we say 1,200, but the sky's the limit on how many other pieces of armor and weapons that you've decided to get rid of to get those extra marks. So if you're following this video, guys, you should have no more problems, probably for the life of Destiny 1, on getting as many possible legendary marks as you can hold in your grubby little pockets. Well, that's about going to wrap it up for this video, guys. I hope you found this useful, helpful, enjoyable. If you did, Make sure you smack that like button, drop a comment in the section below, and most importantly, share this with any friends that you have who might be able to use this information to help them out as well. It only takes a second. You won't only be helping me, but you'll be helping your friends out as well. So I greatly, greatly appreciate you guys doing that for me. But as always, Guardians, this is LVnative. You guys are awesome, and I will see you in the next one.